Hi. I'm just going to try again, but I'm trying on my mobile this time. So I'm just going to see if once Jackie appears online, if it will let me add her this time. If it will play ball. Hang on. Jackie, are you there? See if you are there. What does that say? Swipe what? Jackie, if you just say hi if you're there, I should be able to do it, but if not, then I literally am gonna. Oh, what does that mean there? No viewers to invite yet. There is viewers. I can see there's viewers. Say hi. Jackie, I think you have to comment for me to be able to add you. So if you could comment, that would be fab. And anyone else that's there, say hi. Oh, so you've just liked it. Jackie, pop a comment in. I'm here. Let's have a look. Oh, why is it saying that? It's saying no viewers to invite, but clearly there is. Why are you doing this, Facebook? Right, I'm gonna Hi, Denise. Thanks for staying with us, sticking with us. Whilst I just try and do this, I'll just kind of tell you the purpose of this once we get it sorted is Jackie is also somebody who coaches in is somebody who coaches in the 3 principles. Oh, why is it doing this? I don't think I've ever got cross on a live before. Not really cross, but I'm just frustrated. Why? And so really, Jackie doesn't particularly specialise in anxiety, although she will work with people who have anxiety. And Jackie isn't someone that's suffered ongoing with anxiety like I have. So, oh, hang on, somebody's... Oh, Jackie, I think you have to be on a mobile. Could you do that? Sorry, I know you're probably sat at your computer because of your bad eyesight. Is there any chance you could hop on your phone? Just let me know if you can, and then I will carry on and I will just give an intro to what we're doing. Oh, you're watching? Does that mean you've just popped on your mobile? Bog off. Let me know when you're on your mobile, Jackie J. I should be able to invite you. Oh, yeah, it's going to let me. Oh. Oh, is it going to let me? Oh, hang on. I think it's there. Ooh, I'm excited. Hang on. There she is.
Hang on.
Hi. Sorry about that. It's great. I'm part of a Emma Holmes's, if she sees this on the page, Emma Holmes's Beyond Ordinary Business Hub, which I pay a measly £9.99 for, or £10, whatever it is, a month. And it's just lots of business people and entrepreneurs, people that run their own business in there. And it's just so great. So I literally just posted in there, quick, I'm on the live and I'm trying to invite a friend and it won't work. And I just get a response within like 30 seconds. It's amazing. So thanks, Emma, if you're listening. I know the drama, eh, Catherine? Thankfully, it's just a little bit of drama. So, hi, Jackie.
Hi, you're right. I can't see anything on this mobile.
It's a shame, isn't it, when we get old? So I've put Jackie's, as I said a minute ago, I've put Jackie's page linked in the comments at the top. So give her a like, go and give her a follow, because she's a bit quieter than me sometimes, and she needs a kick up the bum. And yeah, so go and support her. So one of the things that kind of reason why I said to do this is because one, I'm sure people get sick of hearing the sound of my voice every time I do a live because it's just me. And also because myself and Jackie have worked together and still do in for a long time now, and we both are trained psychotherapists, and we both came across the three principles, and we've both made, I would say, really positive changes in our life because of the three principles, but kind of in really quite different ways as well, which is nice because it just shows I'm forever telling people in my membership club or wherever that actually, you know, it's not just for anxiety that these will help you, they're for making all sorts of change in your life. And I just thought it'd be nice to also hear that from someone else so that they don't think it's just me telling them something that's not true. So, yeah. So, why don't you tell us, Jackie, about, well, yeah, just kind of what your thoughts are on the three principles. I'm not going to ask you to, like, you know, give us a lesson on them or anything, but just to kind of from your perspective, really, and what you think the benefits of them are, I suppose.
Well, I gave up smoking using the three principles. I've smoked for an awful long time and gave up a 20-day habit that nearly 40 years I'd been smoking, and just decided I was going to stop smoking and did it, and I've not had a cigarette since. So that's just one change that I've done. But for me, the three principles and coaching has took me away from psychotherapy that I was feeling is very cliquey. I don't know anybody that knows about psychotherapy, but you've got to be a member of a body, you've got to be a member of this club and that club, and it was just getting so bogged down with everything. Whereas coaching and the three principles, it's open to everybody and you just do it. And psychotherapy for me was making things very difficult, and it doesn't need to be. You're just one thought away from making a change. That's how simple it is. And that's what I find hard to get across to people. You don't need
how simple it actually is.
Yeah, you don't need to rake up the past. You don't need to open those boxes that you've kept shut for so many years. You just need to decide to think differently, and it changes everything.
Yeah, and I think one of the it is, and I think you're right. It's certainly the same with me, that one of the things that I was in a way resistant to in the beginning of these with these principles, I could see that they were working, and I could see that something was changing, but I was still always kind of at the back of my mind is like, can't be that easy, like it just can't, you know. If this big list of 15 things that I've already tried has never quite worked that well, why is something so simple and so basic as understanding human nature and how thought works, how on earth is that going to make a massive difference? But that in itself is kind of an example of what we do, isn't it? Like we overcomplicate everything and we overthink absolutely everything.
And I also realised how many stories I made up in my head.
Yeah.
Even when I was giving up smoking on day 3, I did a Facebook Live and called it Jackanory, because I was just making so much, excuse my French, so much shit up. Smoking kept me calm. Smoking makes me concentrate. Without smoking, I'd be anxious. And it was just a crock of poo. It was just all thoughts that I'd made up. Yeah.
There's the thing with that. I mean, I'm not a smoker, so it's not. But you know, I was addicted to overthinking for I don't know how many years, and to me, it all amounts to the same thing, really. But one of the things, like with smoking and things like that people have as phobias that they have maybe even for a long time, it's like, oh, I've had it for such a long time that it's going to be really difficult to get rid of, when actually it doesn't really work like that, does it? It doesn't mean that because you've smoked for, I don't know, 20 years, it's going to take you 20 years to change that habit. We can change a habit so quickly and so instantly. Even with like sometimes feedback from clients and people that I've worked with is like, sometimes when they're like, oh, this has really helped, and I have no doubt it helps, but sometimes what amazes me is how quick it is, and I'm like, shit, really, that quick? You know, you sure? Like, but again, it is because it is very straightforward, and actually I think a lot of my clients get it quicker than I do, because my biggest thing, as you know, because you're a good friend as well, is that I overcomplicate everything by nature anyway. So for me, it's like, oh, I'll get a bit of simplicity, and then I'm like, that's too easy. I've got to overcomplicate this. It's got to be harder than this.
Yeah, do you remember the conversation we had a few weeks ago when I said I'm just born idle and I'm too thick to think all the options of things? I think that's why the 3 principle works for me. You're very intellectual. I can't be bothered. If there's a simple way of doing it, that's for me. I'm going to do it that way.
Yeah, and go with it. Whereas I'm always kind of like, it's not because I'm intelligent, it's because I'm skeptical. I'm like, you sure about that? Like, don't be promising me something if it's not going to work. But I think, yeah, it is. It's the simplicity that makes it work so well.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the things that people will say is, I get asked all the time about CBT, all the time. And will this work? Will that work? Or should I do this? Should I do mindfulness? Or should I not do that with this? Or should I do? And ultimately, if people are doing stuff and it's working for them, then great, do it. Like, there's nothing wrong in it, is there? I believe people get insights into their life about how thought works and how human nature works and makes them feel better. I believe people get those insights in so many weird and wonderful ways that it might be through something else. It might be through mindfulness. It might be through whatever, that they're actually learning about the 3 principles anyway. They just don't realize it.
Yeah. I think as well with clients that have had, insights with me is they think it's a fluke. That's the other thing that you say, but just because it's worked once, it's not going to work. And it's kind of like, I had it for a minute, but it's gone. Well, no, it's not. It's always there.
Yeah. Well, that kind of links into what you were saying a minute ago about those stories, isn't it? And creating, like, the amount of crap we tell ourselves and the stories we create. I was speaking today actually with somebody, and we're talking about fear of flying. And I was working through fear of flying. And one of the things that came up was interesting because I just knew that all the overthinking that would be there, because I've done it many times myself. I was laughing actually. I went from being all right on a flight to traveling the world and going on about 20 flights in a row and developing a fear of flying whilst going on all of these flights. Nothing happened, nothing was bad, but I think I was just spending more time on flights, so I was thinking about flights more. And so that thinking just then escalated. So then I convinced myself I had a really bad fear of flying, which I didn't, because it's gone now, so it can't be.
Making shit up again.
Yeah, I was absolutely making stuff, and it was funny because one of the things I was saying to her, okay, so tell me where you need to sit to feel safe on the flight. And she said, in the middle, absolutely in the middle. And I was laughing, saying it was the window for me, the window that was safe for me. And that's a perfect example how 2 people's fear of flying, also they think they have a fear of flying, but they're okay, or they're a bit better if they're by the window, or someone else if they're in the middle, or for someone else it might be if they're in the aisle. Like, and that just shows that we're completely making it up.
Yeah, I can be.
Because actually, if the window seat,
I googled.
You googled
place to sit on a plane.
And what did it say?
I can't
Can you remember? Where is the safest place?
If it's going down, I don't
just
think
on your bum
safe.
with your seatbelt. Yeah, it is. So if anyone's watching, I can see there's people there watching. Pop in the comments if you've got, and what are your fears? What are your stories that you make up? And if you're watching the recording as well, absolutely fine. In fact, I'm just going to share this now into my group because I forgot to do it. But yeah, because it's interesting. Whatever, we can put fears into categories like fear of flying or fear of I don't know, heights, or fear of whatever, and actually it all just, it's so different for every single person because it's whatever you make it and whatever story you attach to it, really.
Yeah, and I think it's true that if we were, I do have a fear of heights, so my hand up, it's something I do need to work on. But if that was something in our DNA, or we would all be scared of the same things, and we're not. So it's a story that I've made up. Do you know what I mean? It's unique to me. If there was a genuine reason why you should be scared of heights, everybody would be. Yeah,
you see, so Catherine's just put there, safest is at the back. I always thought safest was in the middle.
Safest is in the airport.
In the middle. Because you buy the wings. I thought if he goes, I can get out onto the wing really easily, or I'm nearer the front. And the other thing I don't like about the back is at the back where the plane seems to tip more when you're landing. So I hated the back. I would be mortified if it was at the back. Mine was the aisle. There we go. Love it. Quickest route to exit. Fear gone now, though. Good.
Well
Because you've
done.
made it
Well
up.
done.
It's brilliant. But it just shows you, doesn't it? So we've got some people like the back, some people like the front, some people like the window, aisle, middle. Like the list is just endless, isn't it? The
Yeah.
amount of options and stories that we tell ourselves, none of which is real. Because my guess is as well that, I mean, I'd be very surprised if I was wrong, but my guess is that none of us listening to this have ever been in a really traumatic experience on a flight, in that we've been in a crash or anything like that. So we have nothing to base it on at all. But what about just kind of general everyday stuff as well, Jackie? What do you know, it's kind of, for me, it's the real subtle little differences that you notice about yourself when you learn more about the principles. It's not like earth-shattering big light bulb moments where your whole world changes, but it's kind of, I don't know about you, but I find like there might be get to the end of the week and I'll notice a few things and I'll be like, oh, that's really different.
Yeah. I think one of the things with me is I notice after the fact. Again, I probably am a bit slow, but I'll make a change and don't notice it. But it's after the fact, I'll suddenly think, wow, that went differently. That isn't how it normally pans out. And it's probably because I've not thought about it. I've not made up stories. It just happened. So for me, it is the little bits of an insight. I know you spoke about how sometimes you are with Matt when he has to work late. My husband's working away Monday to Friday now, and sometimes it really pisses me off. Do you know what I mean? It's summer holidays. I've got my son at home. I've got all this stuff to do, and it's like, oh God, I hate it. It's not on. Blah 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 blah. And then this week, it was completely different. He's away. He's working away from home. He's roughing it so that he can pay the bills for us. And oh, isn't that sweet? And I was thinking completely different. And I actually liked him when he came home this weekend.
Poor Bryn. He'll probably watch this, and I think he popped up before. I feel for you, mate. I feel for you. But no, it's because it depends completely on your mood as to how you see things, isn't it? Especially like, say, with the kids over the school holidays, and people are like, oh, you know, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. But what the difficulty with it is a lot of the time is that we're putting unrealistic expectations on ourselves as humans, that we've got to have it all together and we've got to be in a great mood for our kids and we've got to show them a fun time for however long, and none of that's true. We're just creating that. No one's telling us that's what we have to do. We're deciding that's what we should be doing, or that's what we have to do in order to please our kids as much as we can and show them the best time that we can ever, you know, that we can show them. But none of that is actually true.
Yeah. And I think with some of my clients as well, it's not when they're going through an event, it's often afterwards that they overthink it. They think it to death.
Yeah.
And that again, it's like you've said over and over, the feeling doesn't come without the thoughts. It's the thought, the feeling, and then the action. That's how it always plays out. But you miss the thoughts sometimes. Just feel like it goes straight to the feeling.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it? And I think, and so that's one of the good things about learning these principles, is that you start to realize, because you start to see it for yourself, that it doesn't just come from nowhere. And some of our thoughts, I mean, we're having thousands of thoughts all the time, aren't we? So sometimes, we do miss them. We don't hear every single one clearly. And so we think that they're not there, but they are there.
Yeah. And I think,
you know, a lot of the background all the time.
You know, geez, the rubbish that goes through my head on a daily basis, but because it's not important, or I've not attached another thought to it, it passes really easy. But every thought does that. We can't possibly hang on to that same thought for any length of time. That's the nature of it. You just pass through.
It will always go. And I think that's the bit is that people often struggle with, is that the question, I don't know about you, but the one I always get asked is, oh yeah, I understand that. I understand thoughts that come and go, but how do I let them go? Like, how do I do that? It's like, well, you don't do anything. They just go naturally. What you need to not do is hold on to them. And one of the, Nicola Bird, who's also a 3 Principles coach, who I did some coaching with, she did a brief program for children, and my daughter had a look at it. And one of the things that I really liked is there's like if you had a clear glass, so if I had this clear glass now, it was full of water, and that kind of represented me, I suppose. And it's great, you put a skittle in it, is like a thought, a negative thought. So you drop the skittle in and it sits at the bottom, and you can see a bit of, if you put a red skittle in, you see a little bit of red at the bottom, but the rest of it all kind of stays generally clear. And so it's kind of like you can have an anxious thought and find it a little bit uncomfortable and go, oh, well, that's a bit uncomfortable. You can see the red, but if you just leave it, it just disappears. It's kind of not important because you've got all the rest of this that's still clear. And then it gets you to just get a little spoon or something and stir up those thoughts, stir up those skittles. And within about 2 seconds, the whole glass is completely coloured red.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice example of how that's what we're doing when we're just kind of stirring up thoughts, basically. We're kind of, and the way we stir them up, people ask me, how do I stop it? Well, I can't tell you how to stop it in a way because it's naturally, your body just stops it anyway. You're interfering with that natural process.
Yeah.
So I can tell you what not to do, which is to question everything.
Yeah.
Why did I think that? The amount of if I had £1 for every time anyone with anxious thinking tells me, I get so annoyed with myself and just think, why did I do that? Why did I overthink that? Why do I always do that? I'm such an idiot. That person that I work with doesn't do it, or my friend doesn't do it. Why is it me? Why is it? And all of those why, they're just, all they're doing is stirring up that thought and creating all those horrible feelings that go with it.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the more you try to chase an insight, the further away it gets. That's the other thing. Yeah. If there was a lesson or a trick or something we could pass on to make people have insights, that would be, but it's not how it works. I always kind of think it, you know, like having a donkey with a carrot in front of it, it can run for miles. It ain't going to get the carrot. You can't make insight happen. Again, it's when you take your eye off the ball and you're not focusing on making a change, that change just happens.
Yeah, that just made me think of it's like a picture, isn't there, or like a meme or something where I can't remember exactly how it is, but it's like, is there a dog tied to the lead is tied to a plastic chair or something, and it doesn't move because it believes that the lead is keeping it tied and it can't go anywhere, when actually it could quite easily take that plastic chair with it because that dog or whoever it's in, whatever animal it is believing through their own thinking. They've seen that, oh, I'm attached to that, I can't go anywhere. They believe that, and then they're stuck. And that's quite a nice analogy, actually, that, you know, it's about what you're believing and what you're thinking that keeps you stuck, really.
Yeah. And it's our thinking that creates our own reality. And our reality is unique to us. Me and you, many a time, have done similar things. And I've come out feeling completely different to how you have, because my thoughts create my reality. I'd
actually probably say every time we've done anything together, we've both felt really differently, really, would you?
Yeah, I don't get what.
In a way, haven't we? Neither do I. But it's kind of, you know, it's about just seeing, you're right, seeing for yourself how it works. Because we can tell people, and what we do as coaches is we tell people, we explain to them how this stuff works. And then when someone says, so how long will it be before, my light's just gone out, long will it be before I get it and it's all sorted? And I just cannot possibly give an answer, because for someone it could be an hour or a day, for someone it could be a week or a month. And I'd say for me to really start to get it on a level where I felt comfortable and secure was at least a year.
Yeah, and I'm not sure whether you feel the same, but every day there's something that changes for me. You know, I think that was one of the things I struggled with, because we both did 4 years of training in transactional analysis, to suddenly try and put all that down and use the 3 Ps, because I find sometimes they do contradict each other. Yeah. I made up a load of stories about that. One, what will my clients think when suddenly I'm changing the way that I, you know, have sessions with them? And 2, the amount of money I spent on it, the amount of time I spent on it. I was passionate about it, and then suddenly it's like, well, yeah, maybe there's an easier way. We don't need to go through all that process. And one of the things that I'd say to a lot of my clients was what our trainer used to say to us: is therapy is a process, not an event. I didn't want the process. Do you know what I mean? The process can take 10 or 20 years. It can take a long time to process all this stuff. And do you need to? No. And I'm not being funny, but if it was shit first time round, why would you want to go back there again?
Well, the thing is as well, it's kind of like sometimes, you know, the process and what fits nicely with three principles as well is if you are going through, I think I was talking about this with someone about grief actually the other day, or it might have been on the coaching call in my membership club, but I was talking about if you are having a day, so sometimes I'll have a day where I'll think about my dad. My dad's passed away, so I might think about him for whatever reason. Something might trigger it, something might not. But it's not about saying, oh, right, I'm going to completely stop thinking about that because I don't want to have sad feelings and I don't want to, like, sometimes I like thinking about him, but yeah, it does make me feel a bit sad. And it's kind of like, I'm okay with that. And then there'll be other days where I'm just like, I don't want to be doing that. And what I've found with the three principles is it really gives me more choice. So sometimes I will just think, do you know what? I'm going to kind of allow myself a bit of a dad day today and I'm going to think about him and I might feel sad and I'm just going to allow that to flow as it is, and I'm going to allow myself to miss him or whatever. But the difference is I used to do it with anxiety where, oh, I'm having a really anxious day. Oh my God, that means I'm going to have an anxious week. What if it turns into an anxious month? What if? Whereas I'm just having an anxious day, like, so what? And I'll just think, I'm going to be nice to myself today and I might put my feet up and watch film. I'm not going to do all them jobs I needed to do because I'm going to take care of myself today because I'm having an anxious day. And I just allow it. And that's the difference is there's a choice because I know it isn't, I'm not necessarily going to wake up with it the next day.
Yeah. It doesn't need to last. It's not, yeah.
No, it's not something that's happening. That's the other thing. I was always under this impression that it was something happening to me, that I had anxiety. So when it came and I just had to deal with it until it decided to go away. Like not taking any responsibility whatsoever for the fact that I was creating it in my own head. but just really believing it was something that happened to me and it was just like tough luck and I just had to deal with it and it frightened the life out of me. And I think that can be similar for lots of situations in our life that we want to change. You know, say, for example, a relationship. Oh, well, you know, I just got to stick with it now because, well, I've got married and this is the situation and I've got complete, I've got no choice. I've just got to put up with it. Well, no, you haven't. People can make changes and people, sometimes they just think, again, what's lovely about it in the free choice is like, say one of the things that's changed in my relationship is say we maybe not getting on so well or something's going on, then in the past I've like, got to sort it out, we've got to sit down and have a real big discussion, we've got to communicate about it, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, do you know what? Tomorrow's another day. If it was something really significant, I'm not getting involved in every little detail of every thought that I'm having because I know that the next day when I wake up, it's not significant anymore.
Yeah.
And it can be quite freeing and, making yourself actually give space for so many other things when you're not thinking, right, I've got to sort. Me and Matt had a little row. I'd go to bed sort of thinking in my head, we're going to get divorced. I'm not doing this anymore, blah, blah, blah. As if like I was in a really awful relationship. It was fine. It was just, it got on my nerves or we'd had a little disagreement. And to me, it was like massive. Whereas now I'm just like, go to sleep, wake up tomorrow. It's fine. And just let it go so much more easily, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Got a comment there. Catherine, yeah, sometimes completely the same. Sometimes you can talk and think about your mum and not get upset, and other times you'll be in floods of tears. And do you know what? And either of those is fine.
Yeah.
Because it's just where you're at in that moment. And where it becomes difficult for people is if they're kind of in floods of tears every single day and feel stuck and feel like they can't get on with their lives in any way. But the chances are that might come because they're spending a lot of time trying not to do that. Whereas if you just embrace the fact that you're having one of those days and there's been a lot of thoughts about your mum or your dad or whoever, and it's then stimulating, it's creating lots of feelings, it is what it is. And they'll always pass.
Yeah. I think it's trusting that, which is difficult for some people, is trusting that it will pass. And that's a lot.
Yeah, knowing that we're okay, isn't it?
Yeah, knowing that you've got that inner well-being. We're born with it. We don't lose it. It's always there. It's just that sometimes life gets in the way of it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
like that example of the flight that we were talking about earlier, where someone feels like they're safe in the window seat. Some people feel they're safe in the middle, and some people feel they're safe in the aisle. Like, without sounding a bit crass, like if that plane crashes, you're all a bit screwed.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. The chances of that happening is very, very slim. However, it's a possibility, a very slim possibility, but it's a possibility for anyone. And all we're doing in creating these stories of, I need to sit by the window, I need to sit in the middle, we're deciding what we think keeps us safe. And it's a load of rubbish, because again, there's a perfect example of 3 different people having 3 exact opposite answers as to what's safe. So when we think, our brain thinks what it's doing is doing us a favour by, right, we'll suss out what's safe for you. We'll think about what's safe, and then you'll be safe. And it's a load of rubbish. Oh. Because all that's doing is kind of reiterating that there's a problem when there isn't a problem. You know, flying isn't a problem until the plane is just about to hit the ground. That's when it becomes a problem if it's going to crash. You know, up until that point, we're all right. And you know, the funny thing is, even in a really horrible situation where, you know, if a plane did have to do an emergency landing or anything like that, people on that plane would manage and would do the best that they could in that situation. Now, for some, that might mean saying absolutely nothing and sitting still and just praying. For others, it might be screaming at the top of their voice. For others, it might be getting out of their seat and running. Whatever it is, you just do what your body feels like it needs to do in that moment.
Yeah. And for everybody, it's different. Because again, what I think is going to make me safe in that moment will be different to what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what if we're kind of to wrap it up then, I'm just thinking well, I suppose we've said it really, haven't we, right from the beginning, is that I suppose what I wanted to get out of this is to let people know that these 3 principles are not just about anxiety, and also that it's not just me harping on about it. There's lots of other people out there that
harping on about
have tried and tested and just as passionate as I am about it. And it's just, I think, just nice to have different people's perspectives and things like that. So as I said at the beginning, I've put at the top, it's on my page anyway, but Jackie's page, go over and give her a like and say hi, because I'm gonna kick her up the bum and make her do lives as well, because I think the more the merrier, and the more different people's perspectives, the more helpful it is for everyone. So I'm going to kick her up the bum, get her doing some more videos on her page. So go over and give her a like and a follow, and then you can watch the videos too, because you're going to do them, aren't you?
Yes. Again, it's all those stories I've made up. Yeah.
I can't do videos. I'm not comfortable doing videos, which are just as ridiculous as I need to be sat by the window on a plane to be safe. It's just rubbish. Yeah. Absolute rubbish.
This is one of the reasons why I've worked with Sari for as long as I have, because she knows when I need a kick up the arse and she gives me one, and it works. That's simple as that.
Equally, same way around there with you, though, with me, because I don't hide the fact that I'm a massive overthinker, and sometimes I just need a Jackie in my life to just go, shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. What's that video? I've posted it on my page before about on YouTube. If you Google it, it's called Stop It Therapy, and it's just a woman that comes in and says she's got a fear of being buried alive or something, and the man's just like, the therapist is just like, well, just stop thinking about it, just stop it. And she's like, what do you mean, just stop it? It's like, just stop it. It's really quite funny. So if anyone's got any questions about anything at all that we've mentioned, then pop them in the comments, even if it's whilst you're watching the recording. That's absolutely fine, and we'll still come back and reply to your comments. Catherine's put some laughing faces. I'm not sure which bit she's laughing at, but thanks. And we'll come back and comment, and we'll do this again, won't we, Jackie?
We will, yeah. No, we will.
Yeah,
definitely. Thanks for inviting me. It's been fun.
And we've both been really quite busy doing all sorts of different things. But for those of you that are on our parenting page, we will start doing some 3 principles perspectives on parenting soon as well, over on the Parent Plus page. So we'll do some videos over there as well. So make sure, if you are a parent as well, that you go over and follow there, and we'll post some stuff on there as well. So yeah, so the 3 principles are not just for anxiety, although they are fab. I was so delighted at the most amazing review that I got on the page tonight about somebody just been really lovely of just giving lovely feedback. But it's nice to get lovely feedback, obviously, but what's amazing is how people come to me, and she's just kind of what she said, they come to me thinking, oh, I won't be able to change this because this is a really bad habit and I've tried everything already and this is quite a bad fear and I've sussed everything else out, but this is the sticking point. And then being surprised that actually it doesn't have to be a sticking point and that it can change. So whatever it is, these 3 principles will help. And I get asked all the time, does it work for depression? Yes. Does it work for anxiety? Yes. Does it work for anger, relationships, children? Yes, yes, yes. So go for it and let us know if you've got any questions at all. So thanks, Jackie, for joining me on this on my little page.
Thanks for having me on your little page.
It's a pleasure, and we'll catch up very soon, and we'll do another one soon.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.